hello, and welcome everyone back to the comic multiverse, where the worlds of nerd meet. We're back again, Matt, after an impromptu week off last week. Sorry about that. These things happen, but you know what? It's not too bad because now that we're back, we actually got all sorts of stuff to cover. I also just seen too that Matt is having to fix his camera a little bit there. It was pointed at the ceiling for a minute.
I put it up while I was dealing with something else, yeah.
Uh-oh, it happens. Hey, now everyone sees what Matt's ceiling looks like.
Yeah, it's white.
It's a special behind the scenes episode, everyone, where we're just showing our ceilings. We're taking podcasting into a bold, innovative new direction where we just show our ceilings. Oh man, you see that new episode of Comic Multiverse, man? They're going hard on ceilings, man. Ceilings out.
Yeah.
Oh, all the best ceiling action you could ask for. But yes, everyone, we're back again, and it's probably a good thing we took a week off because a lot of big happenings, a lot of big going-ons in the nerd space and the comic book movie space.
Yes, a lot of it.
And we're going to be covering all of them. But of course, it wouldn't be an episode of the comic multiverse if I didn't take this opportunity to, reconvene with my co-host there. How have you been, Matt? How you been doing? How you been keeping?
Yeah, I've not been too bad. Not been too bad. Been working hard, trying to.
You've been streaming.
I've been streaming. Yeah, I've been streaming Gotham Knights, a game that everyone decided they were going to hate before it came out. It came out. Turns out it's a solid 7 game, which to some people means it's a 0 out of 10.
Yeah, it's funny, to see, people were so hyped for that game when it came out, and all the big websites and everyone was kind of shilling for it and talking about it and everything. And then when I woke up and saw IGN gave this a 5, oh, holy shit, you never see that happen because usually, IGN's the place that always calls it down the middle no matter what.
Yeah, but it's really good game. I really like it. The problem is, no matter what it was going to be, it was always going to get compared to the Arkham games, no matter what.
Right. I know I was in no particular rush to get it because I did think it looked a little slow and a little clunky, but the things you've told me about it actually make me more excited because you said there's actually a ton of really good, geeky comic references in the emails and stuff.
Oh, man, yeah. It's so much better than it's done in Arkham.
Right.
There's, literally Clark Kent emailing Dick Grayson because he's looking after Bloodhaven for Dick while he's dealing with the shit in Gotham. There's photos of Tim and Connor and the Titans and all this really cool stuff in their little hideout about hints about their past missions and everything. And yeah.
See, that's the stuff that sells me on it, not the 100 costumes. That's something that's going to make me pick it up. Again, probably not right away, but I will definitely pick it up, when it comes down in price.
Nice. Yeah, I got the collector's edition, so I got the cool statue that comes with all 4 of the characters on it and everything.
I will say this about the costumes. There are some genuinely great ones in there, and there's some real over-designed messes in there, too.
Oh, there's heap. It's the same thing that Arkham had, where it's we'll take the Batman Beyond costume and just over-design it to fuck. There's Beyond costumes in this, and they're over-designed to fuck as well.
That got me. The thing that got me is that a couple characters have suits that are called Year One, and I'm like, those aren't their Year One costumes. We know what their Year One costumes are, and that isn't it. For Dick Grayson, it's a shirt and a harness and everything. I'm like, if it was really his Year One costume, it should be the big dumb disco collar. What do you mean the big dumb disco collar isn't in the game?
I'm pretty sure it's meant to be Year One of this universe.
I guess. Same with Batgirl, where it's it's her Year One costume. She's clearly just wearing riot gear, and I'm like, her Year One costume actually looks like this because reasons. They did work in costumes that looked like the Thrill Kill universe costumes, and I'm like, all right, that's a pretty good deep cut. I appreciate it. Even freaking Red Hood got here's his black leather jacket from here when he first appeared. Here's his dumb brown hoodie from the Scott Lobdell years. He's got it all, really.
Yeah.
And then they also look like pirates, and everyone gets their own Talon costume, which I must say the Talon costume's pretty good.
Yeah, they are pretty good.
Though, again, if I may be a total nerd lord for a second here, Dick Grayson actually did have a potential Talon costume, and that's not how it looked like. If you look at the Kyle Higgins version, you will clearly see that was the first time we saw one of them in a costume.
That's the one thing the game hasn't really done. Yeah, I'm a little bit into the story, but they haven't really tied in how Dick is sort of tied into the court or anything. He's not really tied in all that much to it in the story.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Court of Owls has had a really big week because there was that game, and then I know you don't watch wrestling, but there's a guy you may have heard of, Bray Wyatt, who
Hmm.
has like a bunch of spooky cult leader bullshit he's always doing, and he had a new character he debuted a couple years back called The Fiend,
Hmm.
which is literally just face cut off Joker.
Oh, okay.
He literally just did face cut off Joker on national TV for a couple years. I'm like, because people aren't comic fans, they're not going to know that he's actually dangerously close to like copyright infringement. He's doing like a new creepy cult gimmick right now where it's like, ooh, shaky Blair Witch camera footage there showing all these creepy evil masks. And one of them is just the Court of Owls mask, like the one they gave out at the convention
Yeah.
for that Scott Snyder panel, and I'm like, oh, you big nerd, Bray Wyatt.
That's cool. That's cool.
I can tell. It's very cool because like most wrestling fans who were there in attendance probably didn't catch it, but he's like, oh, he's putting in references for me.
Yeah.
Oh, he also had a "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" gimmick for a bit too,
Oh, okay, cool.
where he played like an evil Mr. Rogers TV show
Yeah.
host with a bunch of creepy puppets, and I'm like, man, this guy's pretty hip and plugged in, isn't he?
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. Check it out even if you're not a wrestling fan, everyone. If that sounds cool to you, check it out because it's all on YouTube. I also had a week filled with gaming. I finally got my Ein Odin handheld Super Chinese emulator with the
Oh, nice.
Snapdragon processor and everything.
Mm.
It's taken a lot to learn and put together. I had to actually figure out how to use SD cards and everything for the first time because I've never had to before.
Yeah. Oh, you got to load the games onto the SD, the ROMs and shit.
You can. It's a good way to maximize space on it because I think this has like 256 megabytes, but I got a card that also had 256. It plays everything from PS1 to Game Boy to DS to GameCube. It even
Nice.
plays Wii stuff because there's a built-in tilt in it.
Yeah. Nice.
I haven't figured out how to make that really work yet, but it's fucking amazing. And I'm going back through all like the old catalogs of shit you can't get anymore. PSP had a huge catalog of games, and they
Yes.
all play excellently on this.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I got my Bloody Roars and my Silent Hills and my original Grand Thefts with the soundtracks you can't get anymore.
Nice.
All the stuff that you can't have and all the stuff that you're justified in going to the gray market for because they'll technically never be able to release them again.
Mm-hmm.
Your Marvel Ultimate Alliances.
Ooh, nice. Yes.
Those sorts of things, they all play wonderfully on this. It's funny too, going back through gaming history and being like, oh, you know what holds up and what doesn't and what's weird. I played Symphony of the Night for the first time in like 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Man, is that weird going back to that PS1 era of like, oh, we were just figuring out what 3D gaming was at the time, huh?
Yeah.
This thing is hard as fuck, and there's rarely any saves around. Also, too, to go back and play the PSP and everything and be like, oh yeah, you can't move the camera because they never quite figured that out on the PSP, proper camera control.
No, they didn't, no.
Going back to a bunch of racing games I never played before because I was never a racing guy, but I appreciate it now that I'm older, Need for Speed, Most Wanted, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Also, hey, they got some crazy Japanese stuff that never made it stateside that a lot of people did really extensive fan translations for.
Ooh, that's cool. I like it when they do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so there's a Digimon game there, Digimon World Redigitized, which is like a sequel to the PS1 game that never officially got released in North America, and there is just a perfect fan sub that someone made.
Nice, that's awesome.
It's great too. I got The Suffering, I got Punisher, which plays really well, the Thomas Jane Punisher game, which is a real lost gem.
Yes, it is.
All the Dead to Rights games that I never played. They made 4 goddamn Dead to Rights games and then nothing. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Dead to Rights 1, Dead to Rights 2, Dead to Rights on the Game Boy, Dead to Rights Retribution on the PSP, and then that PS3 Dead to Rights Retribution game that I don't think anyone ever ended up liking and that it kind of killed the franchise. It was kind of like the Pepsi to Max Payne's Coke.
I was going to say, I only knew about the first one and I thought that's all it was, like a one and done.
Oh, they made a lot of them. Yes, Jaden, you're right. I should play Killer 7 because I never played it, and apparently this version is the good version.
Yeah, you should definitely play that game.
I should play that. I could make my way through Metal Gear again, and I could actually play the GameCube one because that game is like $600.
The Twin Snakes one, which is just the remake, yeah.
Though here's a funny thing, I really learned that I'm a freaking Nintendo kid because one of the problems is for every game you play, you gotta map the controller scheme to it.
Mm-hmm.
I never grew up with a Nintendo, so when the time came to map the Z key, I'm like, "What the fuck is the
Yeah.
Z button?
Yeah, where the fuck do I put it?
There's a Z button?" And I'm like, it's like I'm learning a whole new
That's what
language. Like,
that the
well,
trigger was. The trigger was on the Nintendo 64.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that it was the thing. I was playing a couple of the James Bond games there because there were some excellent James Bond games, Everything or Nothing, From Russia with Love.
Yes.
And when it
Yes.
came time to take cover, Z button, I'm like, what the hell is a Z button? But yeah, it's wonderful. I do want to play Mad World, Tevye. Again, I'm still trying to figure out how to get the Wii emulation to work because that was one of the games where you needed a nunchuck.
I can imagine
Appa-
that would be very hard to do. Yeah.
Apparently, you can trick it. Apparently, there's a way you can do it. I haven't figured it out yet, and some people have even said, look, if you actually get a controller, because it's got the proper port,
Oh,
you can
okay.
plug in a controller to it.
Oh, that's cool.
So I might end up doing that. Yes, Jane, Yakuza 1 on the PS2 that I actually played back in the day, the only Yakuza game with an English dub. It's fucking wild. Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy for hundreds of years, plays Date, plays your detective buddy in that game.
Oh, that's cool.
And he doesn't change his voice that much. Hey, Kiryu, what the fuck are you doing? I'm Japanese. Hayuk? Oh, damn it, sorry. Can't break that one. But yeah, that's what my week has been, trying to put that together. I'm having so much fun with that device. It was so worth going to the kind of shady Chinese outlet to get that. I was sweating when I was putting in my credit card information where I'm like, look, you guys aren't totally gonna wipe me out, right?
Yeah, just gotta leave a little bit behind, yeah.
Just gonna leave a little bit behind, right? You're not gonna completely wipe me out because this looks cool as fuck to the point where it almost seems too good to be true. But yeah, that was my week. And like I said, everyone, we got a ton of news this week. But before we do, once again, I wanted to update you on our continued sponsor for the comic multiverse for this month, Blacktooth Battalion. Yes, that's right, everyone. Omari Malik actually came back and wanted to keep working with us for his Kickstarter project. There are 17 days left to go to back this very special collection, this anthology pack of 3 stories. The goal was 6K. He's at 5K right now with 17 days left to go.
Nice. Let's get him over the line.
I know, we are so freaking close right now. I felt bad we couldn't do the show last week because, you know, we really have gotten an invested interest in this project because it's cool. Omari's a cool guy, and I would really like to see this become something because I think all of these things, Ad Astra, Snakebite, Dogpile, I think these are really cool ideas for stories, and I think all of these could actually become the next big indie sensation.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So I will be linking everyone down in the description. It's Saturday night as we do this. The show usually goes up again Wednesday. So get on that. I know some of you already have, and that makes me feel really nice knowing that some of you have already kicked some money to this project's way, because I think this can be a great comic multiverse success story for everyone if we can make it happen.
Yeah.
So get on that, everyone. And I guess with that out of the way, we can hop into the news segment of the show. It's the news, Matt, and a lot of shit happened this week and last week.
Holy shit, did it ever?
I know, like, there's weeks when you and I complain where it's like, what the fuck do we even do the show anymore? There's no news to talk about. We're just bullshitting. The algorithm is fucking us. What do we even do? And then we get weeks like this where it's like, all right, yes, this justifies discussion. This justifies doing a show.
Yeah.
So the first big story here is we actually got an early Christmas gift, Matt. We got the trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy, the Christmas special.
We got that, and we got the Ant-Man trailer as well, yeah.
That's right, we got the Ant-Man. Okay, let's talk Christmas Guardians first, then we'll go to Ant-Man. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So this is another Marvel special presentation, which we have only had one so far in Werewolf by Night, but already I think they have set the bar super high in what these things can be.
Yeah, and I think with the success of Werewolf by Night, and no doubt the success of the Guardians one, we'll be seeing a lot more of them. And this is a great way as well to introduce lesser known characters. You give them like a special 50-minute presentation. It means you don't have to give them a series or don't have to give them a movie. It's that right in between.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much like every comic character doesn't need their own ongoing.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can make a great miniseries, and sometimes you can make a great one shot. And I
Yep.
think this is going to serve as a great one shot. What I was not expecting is, when you think Guardians Christmas special, they're going to be fucking around. They're going to be tongue in cheek about it. I bet it's not going to be that much of like a continuation. But no, they're really setting this up as like a serious continuation from like Guardians and the last Avengers movie.
Well, I think James Gunn has said that it's like a transition sort of
Mm.
thing because it's going to transition into Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I imagine we'll get teasers of what's going to be happening in that film as well.
Yeah. Yeah, the general story here seems to be that Peter is super sad after losing Gamora, because
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't he be?
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like they were ready to take things to the next level in their relationship, and because of that, Drax and Mantis have the genius idea to really, make Peter's Earth holiday Christmas worthwhile by going to Earth and kidnapping Kevin Bacon.
Kidnapping the real Kevin Bacon, yeah.
The real Kevin, not the Kevin Bacon who we saw before. This is the real guy, the actor Kevin Bacon. I'm like, oh my god, he's getting to double dip. Holy shit. I love this. I love this man so much. And it just looks fun. Gunn looks to be having so much fun doing the whole Christopher Columbus thing and covering this in greens and reds and golds and everything.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Just Christmasing the fuck out of it. I can't wait for this. When I looked at this, I'm like, man, Guardians is so goddamn good. There's something just magical about this where even if it wasn't for the rest of the greater Marvel Cinematic Universe, I think these movies would be able to stand on their own, and I just love we're getting more.
Yeah, and again, like the Guardians are like what helped like make Marvel a bit like it changed the mold and what like the MCU was. 'Cause it opened up like space and like weird and wonderful shit can happen and everything. And it's really strange to think that like back before the Guardians came out in 2014, they were like unknowns. No one gave a shit about them.
I mean, they had some really good runs with, the Landig and whatever run, War of Kings and all the cosmic events, but that was niche.
Very
it's
niche,
like, it was hard enough to get your friends just to read comic books, let alone read this like super in-depth cosmic shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now the Guardians got to be the hottest thing, and I think because of that, they weren't afraid to take, they were afraid. They were brave enough to take more risks. Where it's like, look, if we gave this mostly unknown comic property to someone as creative as Gunn, and kind of let them have their freak flag fly, they made something truly, wonderful and something that belongs to pop culture forever now.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And hey, don't worry about James Gunn. We'll be talking about him in a minute more. But yeah, before that, we also had the Ant-Man trailer, which, oh man, the Ant-Man trailer. Talk about a series that's also the little series that could, because I always forget about Ant-Man, and then you see a trailer like this, or he shows up in something, you're like, oh, yeah, I love Paul Rudd. I think I love Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd's cool. Scott Lang's an awesome character. Yeah.
He's kind of this perfect everyman, isn't he? Like, if Peter is like the every teen, he really is, as Scott, this everyman. And this trailer really, really kind of dives into that idea where it's him basically going back to life as normal after the final Avengers movie, and he's kind of getting to kind of waft in the idea of being a hero and being something of a minor celebrity.
Well, people think he's Spider-Man, but
people think he's Spider-Man, which is funny because it's like, oh yeah, I guess the world forgot he was Spider-Man, so I guess they can just think that Scott is Spider-Man now.
Yeah, and both bug-themed heroes and everything.
How about that? Also, talk about Marvel getting great cameos, getting the guy from I Think You Should Leave Now.
Yeah.
Bringing back Baskin Robbins and him being a freaking employee of the century.
Yeah, that's great.
You gotta love that. That's very funny. I love that weird jokes from the first Ant-Man keep coming back.
I know, yeah. The guy, who is it? Greg Turkington?
Yes.
Yeah, he gets to come back in every one of them, which is great. Yeah.
You gotta love it. It's a lot of fun there. Also, I got a big whack of Fantastic Four off this one too, because it's a family adventure. It's Scott, his daughter, his girlfriend, his surrogate science dad, and his long lost wife going on an adventure into the quantum realm now, which is apparently even more than we thought it was from the last Ant-Man movie.
Yeah, yeah, I like that you mentioned Fantastic Four because it makes me feel like, oh yeah, these whole movies all being based around like Scott's family and everything.
Hmm.
They've been like a test bed for the Fantastic Four. It's like, oh, how much weird shit can we do?
Get away
Like,
with, yeah.
yeah,
Because there's a lot of weird shit here. Because obviously, we had seen the quantum realm in the other movies, they had referenced it, but here it's like, no, 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 this is going to be a whole movie set in the quantum realm by the looks of it.
mm-hmm.
We got some weird shit in there. We got a big guy with like a coil for a head. Is that a mindless one? I thought that was a mindless one.
Yeah, I might be.
Might be a mindless one. We got the whole Empire of Kang. He's got a whole big freaking city filled with warships and everything else, which is very much kind of what they did with the Maker in the Ultimate Universe. That is, I
Mm-hmm.
built an army outside of time so I can invade other shit.
Yep, yep. Do you think Molecule Man will be involved somehow?
Oh, that'd be super cool.
Yeah, I mean they're building towards Secret Wars.
So yeah, they might as well build that up now. Jonathan Majors looks great in the costume,
Yes.
sounds great as Kang for the second time.
Yes, yes, and I just want to remind people that no, he's not blue. It's his armor that's blue.
Mm,
You know, it's okay that he's a black man because
yeah.
it's just armor.
It's fine. Calm down. Everyone calm the fuck down. Please don't write an angry manifesto. Please do not attack any public figures with a hammer, please. For the love of fuck. BB Metalhead helping us out there. Ant-Man thought he could get away with a trilogy fun, small-scale adventures. Time for some suffering. Yeah, I guess that's true. The first two were pretty damn small time. This is the biggest Ant-Man adventure that's not also Avengers.
Yeah, and when you think about it, like he's going to be the first movie post Loki to deal with Kang,
The big bad
the
guy.
big bad guy of this next phase. Yeah.
Which is very interesting to make him be the one. It also makes me think, geez, is everyone going to make it back from this movie alive?
I wonder. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, Evangeline Lilly
I was just
died?
about to say, oh no, she
Oh,
wasn't vaccinated for molecule madness or
viruses.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. She got hit by a truck. How about that? See, not everyone's going to get that joke. There's like 3 levels of Canadian politics jokes in that. But hey, they have his daughter all suited up in a purple suit, which
Mhm.
makes me think, is she going to be Stinger or is she going right to stature? I don't know.
I imagine Stinger first up, and then she'll. Because I mean, they've probably got to work up to her being able to like grow in size, like how they did with
Yeah, yeah.
Scott, how he couldn't do it straight away. Yeah.
Also funny too, the idea of it being not a small scale adventure, but it is a very small scale adventure because they're in the quantum. It's the biggest, smallest adventure ever.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, Majors looks great. Man, he's been having a great week for trailers because he had that and the Creed 3
The
trailer
Creed, yeah.
drop within like 2 weeks of each other.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be the summer of Jonathan Majors just fucking up all your favorite
No, I'm
heroes.
fine with that. I'm fine
I'm
with that.
fine with that too. God, did you see him in that Creed 3 trailer? He looks like a
Holy yeah.
fucking.
He's like made of fucking stone. Yeah.
He's massive. He looks like several brick shithouses all Voltroned on top of each other. He looks like he eats nothing but rage and shits nothing but violence. And again, he's bringing that to Kang too. That's where the real crossover is going to be. You see, Adonis Creed will need to cross on over to help the Avengers
Yeah,
fight
yeah.
Kang.
Yeah, through the quantum realm, yeah.
Through the quantum realm, they'll all get together. That's what you didn't know. Damien, whatever the fuck his name is, he's playing in Creed 3, is actually also a Kang variant. You didn't know it, but he is. That's the secret post credit at the end of Creed 3. We're gonna find out. But yeah, it looks really great. It looks really cool. It looks really expensive too.
It does, yeah. It looks like it's got a little bit of money behind it.
Yeah, they're throwing a lot into this Ant-Man thing, which you gotta wonder, most of these series don't go past a trilogy, so you figure, are they passing the baton to someone, or are they hoping that if they do go out, they go out with a bang on this one? I wonder.
Yeah. Well, obviously his daughter's going to be part of the new Avengers. I would have to imagine they're going to keep Scott around just because it's
You
Paul
would
Rudd
think.
and
Yeah.
you know, he's
A
not.
lovable elder
Yeah,
statesman.
well, yeah, and he's not too old. He's not.
No.
He can still keep doing these films.
You would think so, right? Even if his daughter goes off to do Young Avengers or Avengers 2.0 or whatever.
Yeah, and I imagine they'd want to keep him around because, like, technically, he's the one who did save the universe by like inventing the time travel sort of theory and everything, and
A little
yeah,
bit.
yeah,
But
yeah,
he's humble about it. He's not a dick about the whole thing.
yeah. He's not a dick about it.
He's not going to rub everyone's face in the fact that he built the technology that saved everyone.
Yeah, although I do think a running plot theme in this new one is that he's like written a book, like a biography.
Oh, fun.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, didn't they make that joke in Miss Marvel actually that he had written a book and
I think
Kamala was
so.
reading it?
I think so.
I love that that's connective tissue over all of these things. Scott wrote a book.
And it makes total sense he would as well.
Yeah, really. Is it any good though? Is the question. Do people like the book, or it's like it's a little hackney, it's a little amateurish?
They probably just don't believe any of it because it's fucking Scott Lang. Yeah, oh yeah, Ant-Man saved the universe.
He's like literally the only hero who could get away with writing a book because no one would believe anything he said.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yes, everyone, from big Marvel news to perhaps the biggest DC news in God, I don't even know how long right now.
Yeah.
Word officially dropped this week. James Gunn, yes, that James Gunn will be getting a brand new power position within Warner Brothers Discovery. He's now the new head of production for their superhero film division, their TV division, and I think their animation division too. So that's 3.
Yeah, he's looking after it all.
Yeah, he got the keys to the kingdom, basically, which, man, for a dude like James Gunn, who was clearly through so much with that, like, astroturfing bullshit from, right-wing fascists trying to, like, kick him off his projects because he dared to say some shit about the Orange Menace and anything, to getting it all back and getting to do DC stuff, to now basically being given this brand new position of power to, but basically they're putting it all on him to be like, hey man, can you write this shit? We think you can. Just a beautiful story.
Yeah, yeah, and it just also flies in the face of everyone who seem to think that like because so the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker came out in a pandemic and didn't
Yeah.
get pre-pandemic numbers, that it just a complete flop and everything, that
Oh
like
yeah, that bugs
you,
the shit out of me. I've been seeing
yeah,
that more and more, and I'm like, yeah, but people liked it though. Is the
yeah,
thing. People actually liked it, and had it come out in theaters, it would have done really good. Hell,
yeah,
people are super psyched for Peacemaker too. People are super
yeah,
psyched for what might happen with Suicide Squad now.
yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
Again, quality. Now, obviously, well, anything, for James Gunn is great news and a beautiful story about a man who started out writing goddamn trashy trauma movies to
Roman
now
movies, yeah.
being the creative head of one of the major studios is just a beautiful fucking Rocky story in and of itself. I would be remiss if I didn't say that I'm also a little afraid because it's like, yeah, all right, he's got this great new creative job. Still David Zaslav running things, and this man has shown that he could fuck up a pot of coffee.
That's true, but I have to think that maybe Gunn has quite a bit of clout
You would think
over there
so.
at the moment, with like obviously his work at Marvel as well as
Hmm.
like his work with the DC stuff at Raz. So I mean, I have to think he would have a fair bit of leeway
You would
with it.
hope so. You would hope that, especially for a guy like him who's been fucked over the way he has in the past, he hammered out an ironclad contract, and
Hmm.
Zaslav seems to be like a lazy son of a bitch to be like, look, I gave it to you. It's your job now. Hands off. But if you fail, I'll let you know.
Yeah,
Type thing. You would hope that that's the way they're doing it. But again, and call me a conspiracy theorist on this, and I'll fully admit I feel a little conspiracy theorish when I bring this up. The idea that perhaps Zaslav is doing such a bad job running the entertainment arm because he actively wants to devalue it so he can, like, cut up the pieces of Warner Brothers and sell it off like a corporate raider. And that all
hmm,
this stuff with Gunn and with Henry Cavill is like a highly elaborate pump and dump thing where it's like, yes, forget that we still owe 1.3 to 1.6 billion dollars even after everything I canceled and even after this merger. Concentrate on these things and let it generate a lot of hype so that I can sell off and cash out later.
I don't want to be a cynic, but yeah,
Same.
I think so.
I want to be happy. So badly do I want to be happy about this, and under any circumstance I would. I just don't fucking trust this Zaslav guy.
Yeah,
This this trashy fucking Barnum and Bailey goddamn reality TV shyster creating lost media in front of our very eyes because he doesn't respect animation, canceling movies that are 90% done to take a tax write-off, friggin' quieting the voices of women and people of color and everything else there. Now, the hope is that maybe, Gunn can right the ship, right? Maybe he can turn some stuff around and, pressure creates diamonds, art from adversity, that whole thing. In a perfect world, I hope that's what happens. But as time and time again we have seen, we do not live in a perfect world.
Yeah, if anything, DC at least now, like, it has someone in charge who
Yeah.
will come up with a plan.
Indeed. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a very, very interesting next couple years because of things like this. And I really hope I'm wrong, but even if I am right about the Zaslav thing and that he is just a fucking glorified corporate raider, I hope that Gunn can get in, get his money, make some subversive art, and use the fact that he is now the co-head of a major studio to parlay into his next big gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, as the chat said, slimy. Don't forget slimy. Yes, also slimy.
Yes, yes.
Slimy and odious and a duty head, probably. Can confirm. Sources near the project tell me also a duty head. Also, too, like creatively, I mean, you got to really be excited about a dude like Gunn being in charge, because this is a dude who apparently they offered Superman not that long ago, and he said, "Nah, I'm not right for it."
Yeah, he seems pretty humble about and knows like what he'll be able to handle and what he won't be able to handle. Yeah.
Which I think has always been a major problem with the Warner Brothers DC slate of films. They just kind of give it to anyone for any reason.
Yeah, they give it to anyone for any reason, and for some reason, like, again, with certain filmmakers in the past, they give them like way too much power for some reason,
and then take it away. Also,
yeah, it's really strange. Maybe this will alleviate that.
I mean, we can only hope now that there's like a freaking actual filmmaker in charge, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he won't promise the world and then let a fucking trailer house cut the goddamn movie.
Yeah.
Or be like, no, we're not going with that title. That's a stupid title. That would be nice. Again, we can only hope. It's going to be very interesting one way or another. And you got to think, too, on some level, the people at Disney are probably kicking themselves a little bit, too, where it's like, damn, if we had just stuck by him the first time around, maybe he wouldn't have gone and done... Well, he wouldn't have. He wouldn't have been able to go make the Suicide Squad, so he wouldn't have been able to head up what is essentially their competition.
Well, to be fair as well, his contract with Disney was up after...
And also that.
After Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And I mean, they probably could have renewed it, but like maybe he wouldn't have, and maybe he would have gone and done something else.
It's true. We will never know. This now becomes one of the great what-ifs, unknown scenarios within Hollywood.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
But again, nothing but respect for Gunn there. Really interested to see what he puts together, and I hope the studio actually throws in behind him and isn't doing what they're doing now, where it's like, oh, we can only release 2 movies a year now because we owe so much money. But hey, speaking of that, I didn't actually get to see Black Adam because my mom was sick, which is why we didn't have a show last week. You did, though.
Yes, I did, and it's aggressively mediocre.
Yeah, that's the thing. In all the reviews I read, I'm like, oh, so it's every bit the movie Matt and I thought it was going to be, huh?
Yeah, the JSA are the best part. Dr. Fate is the best part of that film. Yeah, The Rock is The Rock.
As he always would be.
Yeah.
Though, interesting thing about The Rock, I know you and I talked about this off mic there. It's funny that the movie opened to like something like 60 million, which isn't much in this superhero age when like everything else opens to like 80 to 100 million. But everyone in the press is making a very concerted effort to be like, oh, it's the biggest solo debut for The Rock ever. His biggest solo debut. Not like all those other movies where he's an ensemble piece. This is all him, and look how much money it made. It made less than Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and even Aquaman, but he did so good, didn't he?
Yeah, everyone's like trying their hardest to appease The Rock's ego with like very like caveat-ridden, like, this is the best Rock film that released under a full moon in October of 2022,
If if you ever needed a good example of how much power The Rock actually wields in Hollywood, both as a star and as a co-financier and producer and everything else, I think the endless massaging of his ego that has come out after this should really let you know. And you're probably thinking, well, Joel, are you actually sitting here and telling me that Warner Brothers made these press guys say all this? No, they didn't have to, because The Rock is good for Hollywood. He's one of the few last bankable stars, like him and
Hmm.
fucking Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
And I think on some level, they're all scared to be like, oh no, he has other options. What if he wants to go back and do another WrestleMania? What if he wants to run for president, which he said he wasn't doing, which made me think he thought Black Adam would open bigger than it did. And
Yep.
they're afraid that he might change his mind again and go back to run for president. So they really want to keep him in the Hollywood system as best they can.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's just insane the amount of like stroking of his ego that film has. Even
Yeah.
like in the film, like the
Oh, yeah.
dialogue, all the dialogue was like,
It's about
oh,
how cool he
he's
is.
so fucking cool. He's got such a fucking big dick, and he kills people, but like he's a
He ain't
hero,
afraid of
and
nothing.
yeah,
That's another thing too that blew me away too in the reviews I read, where it's like, yeah, it kind of doesn't have anything interesting to say about anti-heroes or anything. And I'm like,
no.
wow, that's so weird coming from the studio that did the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker and the Harley cartoon. I'm like, guys, the three best things you've made in live action in the last little bit that wasn't called Doom Patrol were all stories about anti-heroes trying to learn to be better people. How did you blow it on this one?
Yeah, the one that's like literally about, I guess, an anti-hero or more of a villain.
Yeah. You know what it is? Again, it's a movie that he was attached to for 15 years. It sounds like they wrote the script and didn't
That's
update it an iota.
again, that's what I find so fucking funny about this. The 15 years, and this was the best you can come up with, really?
We did 100 takes, and that was the best
Oh,
one.
oh,
Again, I'm gonna see it. I'm just in no rush to see it.
yeah, yeah.
And again, it'll be very interesting to see what becomes of this now that James Gunn is essentially in charge. And obviously, they want to appease The Rock, as we've seen time and time again. How much does that appeasing look like? Do they do a Black Adam sequel? Do they do a JSA spinoff? Or it's just like, no. Rock is the villain in Shazam 3.
Oh, he's not gonna be a fucking villain in Shazam. He's gonna be fucking fighting Superman.
Yes,
Because
okay.
that's the thing The Rock is obsessed with.
For some reason, even though, as we've mentioned time and time again, Superman has fought Black Adam like what, maybe twice?
I could probably count on one hand all the times they have actually fought. Maybe
You know what,
even
Matt?
use only like half the fingers, you know?
You know what, Matt? I think that's a video you need to make. The history of
Oh,
all the times Superman
it'd be a
fought
very
Black Adam.
short video.
It would be. You would need to be like, here, everyone, can you shut up about this now?
Yeah, oh god.
And you can tell the man came from the world of wrestling, because like what a wrestling idea that is, where it's like, look, we need to smash Black Adam over as the new big monster heel tweener that all the little kids are going to want to cheer for and buy their shirt. And then he fights Superman, and oh, it's a big slam event and everything. Oh, but does he get the W or doesn't he, brother? You'll have to find out.
Well, neither will get the win because it'll
True.
end like every fucking versus film ever where they fight and then they team up and fight a bad guy.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
Which I'm fine with. I mean, it's a tried and true formula. It works. It just seems funny that they learn nothing from Batman v Superman and
No.
having, building your entire story around just having two characters fight each other.
Yeah, and it's gonna again like if now that Superman is back, it's got to be so fucked if that's like the next film he's in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, he's again second fiddle to another character and probably barely gets to do anything.
Again, here's hoping Gunn writes the ship and being like, look, you guys seem to just keep doing the same stuff over and over again and never learning from it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's Black Adam. Not the worst thing in the world is the chat is saying, hey, it's fine enough if you go in knowing what it is, and at least it ain't
Yeah.
Morbius.
Yeah. I mean, it's aggressively mediocre. It's got some kind of cool action and everything in it, but yeah,
From what I understand.
shitty villain, shitty like
Yeah.
everything else besides the JSA.
Another big evil demon, another big evil CGI demon.
Yeah, fucking Sabak is completely wasted. Yeah.
You know why Savannah is still like the best live action DC movie villain? Because he was a guy.
Yeah, just a dude.
He was a guy who had an understandable reason for why he was evil, and he was a cool reflection of the hero.
Yeah, we don't need any of that shit.
Nah, big CGI monster fight.
Yeah.
Hell, I keep bringing it back. Wonder Woman, the first Wonder Woman movie, I liked it more before Ares showed up.
Yeah, it was a really good story, and then it had the big fucking Zack Snyder ending.
Oh, I know. Like, that movie is like, oh, wow, this is actually doing something complex and nuanced and interesting. War. There is no Ares because war exists inside the heart of man, and it is
It's
corruptive
human nature, and
Yeah, and how can a hero fight against human nature? Oh, no, here's fucking Ramus Lupin over here to put on a bunch of armor and fight you. Oh, you were almost really smart there for a second movie. BB Metalhead helping us out again in the chat. BVS Black Adam versus Superman Dawn of Justice again. Yeah, wow, it would be BVS again. Oh my god.
Yeah. We're probably going to be living in a world where we're going to have to specify which BVS we're talking about.
This world, man, I tell ya. But yeah, I'll see Black Adam, much like I will play Gotham Knight. I'm just in no rush to do either.
Yeah, just wait for it to come on streaming.
It sounds like it would be a very good streamer, and a lot of that just speaks to Hollywood right now, where it's like, you know what, I probably would have just enjoyed this more at home on my couch.
Yeah.
I could pause and make snacks and take a phone call and go for a piss.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, speaking of streaming shows, The Vision, apparently Vision Quest, his new series is actually in active development right now.
Yeah, made sense.
Yeah, again, there was a lot left to be said with him at the end of friggin' WandaVision, with him becoming White Vision and losing his memories and everything else. And now that Wanda herself is dead / missing, it'll be very interesting to see what becomes of Vision in that world.
Yeah, and Vision Quest obviously is a comic. And I think
a fun reference to an old TV show.
Yes, and I think it featured Wonder Man.
Oh, interesting.
Which I know they were looking to do a show about, so maybe it's probably going to be related to that, and makes sense being the connection they both sort of have with one another.
Yeah, how's that going to be? Because Wonder Man in the comics is obviously tied so closely to Vision because that's his brain scans. Are they maybe going to retcon it now to be like, oh, to become New Vision, to become Vision 3.0, they need Simon's head scans and everything?
Yeah, wouldn't it be cool if Simon was played by Paul Bettany as well?
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, I don't think it will because Simon's like a big fucking buff dude.
Indeed.
Yeah, and an actor and stuntman, but I think that'd be pretty funny.
I'd be very much okay with that, because hey, we saw the last time Paul Bettany acted next to Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
I keep wondering that it's like, man, would they bring back Ultron to be a villain in something like this? And then I'm reminded that apparently they did bring back Ultron for that cruise show movie with Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man fought him along with like Miss Marvel and Sam Wilson and Captain Marvel. It was pretty cool.
It was cool, and like in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, that's such a good pitch, though. Like that could have been Ant-Man 3 or 4 or everything, him fighting Ultron, and then you like actually work in the connection with him and Pym if you wanted to do that. I can't believe it does exist. It's just a cruise show. Which goes to show you that the people doing writing the cruise show are big fucking nerds like us. If you worked on the cruise show in any capacity, hey, big thumbs up from us. I like your work. Also, can you comp me some tickets, please? I'd love to go on the Wish, but I ain't gonna fucking afford it in this lifetime. If I sold a kidney, maybe, I might be able to afford a trip on the Wish, but not now. Also, I'm sure people are gonna be like, Joel, haven't you always talked shit about cruise ships? Yes, but I'm a hypocrite, though. How many times do
I'm a trashy person as well.
Yeah, I'm also, like, I make fun of trash and tastelessness, but I am also trashy and tasteless. I can make fun of you because I am you. I see in you the things I hate about myself. Oh. But yeah, so Vision Quest could be fun. A lot of directions they could go in it, and like you said, it's just more Paul Bettany.
Yeah, more Paul Bettany, which is always great.
Which is always great too. And man, what an interesting like character history he's had from the original Age of Ultron to the Avengers movies to WandaVision to now basically getting to headline his own show, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's all that waiting has paid off for him, I reckon. Yeah.
Indeed. And again, it feels a lot like comic books, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And that's what I love about it. Now, speaking of shows in active development too, that Green Lantern show on HBO Max, we didn't hear a lot about it, And with everything that was going on at HBO Max, all the downsizing, all the, canceling stuff for tax write-offs, we were really, really worried about it. It was supposed to be an anthology show, but apparently now it's being reworked. I don't know if this had anything to do with Gunn's new position of power or if this is something they were doing anyway. It's actually being reworked from an anthology show to more of a serialized show focusing on Jon Stewart as the Green Lantern.
Which I think is I think it's the wrong decision.
Yeah, because we've been down this road before with Green Lantern, and I know this is like a personal taste thing, and not everyone's going to agree with me on this one. I love John, but the Green Lantern Corps themselves is the cool selling
Yeah.
point. It's
Yeah.
that there's a bunch of different ends. I'm not saying John shouldn't be in it. I'm not even saying he shouldn't be a focal
Yeah,
point,
it
but
should be multiple because it's not just one person.
yeah, let's get a fucking episode about Chip and the alien princess and Mogo and all this other stuff. That's what I think has made the Green Lantern franchise endure as long as it has, because it's this big, huge universe where we're forever focusing on one small part of it. It's the Star Wars problem. It's why do we keep going back to the Skywalker family when the universe is massive?
That's why I really like the original premise of the show, because it was going to be an anthology show starting with Alan Scott in the 40s and going all the way to the present, which would have been a really great way to help build out your new DC universe as well.
Yeah, honor the whole history of the thing, not just a small part of it. Hell, Stargirl honors the whole history of the DC universe really well. I just finished that big Infinity Inc. 2-parter tonight.
Oh, nice.
It's good shit, isn't it?
It's really good. It's really fucking good.
Fucking Keith David is Mr. Bones, man.
Yeah,
More of that.
That's so fucking good.
My cyanide touch, it kills everything, including my mother. I'm like, you're so fucking cool, Keith David. I could just listen to you talk as a skeleton forever. And the big reveal that the Helix Institute and Bones weren't actually the bad guys of this season.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah, how about that? Which means that there's another bad guy. Who do you think the secret bad guy of Stargirl this season is? I had a theory.
Who is it?
It's Mentelo's son. Or not Mentelo, it's the mind guy.
Oh, fuck.
Brain.
Brain. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah.
Brainwave.
Yeah. Yeah, no, well, it kind of has to be like a son of someone, just because like that keeps the theme going throughout the show.
And they keep showing the sewers, and Brainwave Jr. died in the sewers, saving everyone else.
Yep.
And also because Brainwave Jr. was a member of Infinity Inc. Back in the day.
Do you reckon it'll be Brainwave Jr., but like his father has like taken control of him? It's got like a new body or something. Yeah.
Because they keep bringing that up that like Yolanda can never be free of the things she did because she killed Brainwave Senior and she loved the son and everything. Also, they brought it up before that he's technically related to Pemberton Brainwave Jr. That's his nephew.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, why would they bring that up if that wasn't going to be important? He's like, oh, I had a nephew I never met. And I'm like, interesting that you brought it up that way, Joel McHale. Joel McHale is fucking great in Stargirl Season 3, by the way.
He really is too. Usually I find him quite insufferable as an actor, but like I really love him as Sylvester.
And he's kind of supposed to be insufferable here because it's like, I've got 1940s movie star good looks, but my parents were shitty and I'm bad to everyone around me even when I don't know it. Because this is just how I was raised. It's kind of the perfect role for him, actually. I feel like he's not acting in that moment. He's just being Joel McHale. And they just let the camera roll on him. Yeah, that's what I think. He's really good in that. And also the fact that because it's a mystery this season, they kind of want you to think he's the bad guy. Or could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a fun one. Stargirl Season 3. Watch it before you can't. Because this is probably, they haven't said it, but I'm like 90% sure this is going to be the last season.
I think it will. Oh, well, aren't they filming, like, isn't there another season though? Because aren't they filming like a Titans crossover?
They're filming a crossover, but I don't know where they're going to put that.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's going to be a Titans episode, because like the photos I saw, like Jeff Johns and everyone was on set that are like the showrunners of Stargirl.
Well, maybe it's already done, but they could just share the pictures then.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
And maybe they felt the need to share the pictures because they weren't getting any fucking promotion.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even know the show had come back for a while. Yeah.
I know, isn't that the worst? Much like Doom Patrol, someone shared with me a horrifying statistic where it's like, here's the trailer for season 3 of Doom Patrol, here's how many views it got, and here's the new trailer for season 4 that just came out. It got like 6,000 views, the new
Oof.
trailer.
Oof.
And I'm like, I have goddamn videos on my channel that got more views than that. That's horrifying.
Oof.
And the thing that could kill it is the same thing that kills comics, where it's like people either A, already thought it was canceled, or B, heard that it was going to get canceled, and because of that, didn't watch the new one.
Yeah, I heard that it's going to get cancelled from people who aren't informed at all about this and
Yeah.
just assume that, yeah, just assume it's cancelled. Yeah.
Such a killer. Kali Frederick helping us out. I loved Pantheon its finale. Hope a season 2 happens. I have great news for you, Callie, because I'm actually working on a writing project with Johnny Two Cellos, who is an animation YouTuber. Me and him both love the show. We got in contact with some storyboard artists from Pantheon. They are getting a season 2. They got bought as like a 2-season package, because that's kind of like how Netflix does it for their seasons and everything now. Apparently they're already done storyboarding season 2, so good fucking news, they are getting a season 2.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, but also evangelize the show and tell everyone to watch it, because it's on like AMC Plus, so I don't think enough people are watching it. Have you seen it, Matt? Have you seen Pantheon?
I saw the first 2 episodes, yeah.
Fucking slaps, and it only gets better.
It's pretty fucking good, yeah.
It's pretty fucking. If you love Westworld, if you love cyberpunk, if you love that good hard science fiction,
yeah,
then you'll love this. What I love about Pantheon is that it's a show about like computers and the internet, but like the shit actually makes sense and is accurate.
Yeah.
You hear real USB sounds, you hear like real server upkeep, like real typing sounds and everything.
Yeah, it's not just someone like slamming a keyboard and I'm in the mainframe and
hack the planet.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not afraid to let internet stuff be like super boring. And I like that about it. It's like, no, this is what the internet's like, man.
Yeah.
Chad also saying, did you guys see that Doctor Who will be streaming on Disney Plus? Yeah, that was impressive.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That last episode was freaking awesome.
I have not kept up on Doctor Who since the end of the Tennant years. I'm like a million years behind on it, but I know people were freaking loving that goddamn David Tennant came back.
Yeah, David Tennant came back, and then we're getting like the new guy, and we have to wait a full fucking year till the next, because the last episode was only a special. The last 3 episodes of Jodie Whittaker's run were like specials.
Right. Huh. Interesting.
But yeah. Yeah.
Well, I've got time to catch up on all of Matt Smith and all of Capaldi and all of Whittaker.
Oh, yeah.
If I want to be up to date.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can watch all that in a year, right?
Yeah. 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 Sure.
Also, yeah, as we're catching up on older stuff now. Yeah, we meant to talk about this when we talked about the Superman thing, but yeah, so Cavill looks to be back in the saddle as Superman. Looks like they're going full steam ahead on new projects. And we know they are because it was also announced today that he's actually backing out of Witcher Season 4 and they're replacing him with Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah. I did check because I saw it was under Discussing Films Twitter, and I had to check just because there's a parody account of Discussing Films.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, this has to be close. A fuck on. This has to be like, it's like, come on, that's very specific.
It feels like a joke we would make, right? They replace it with Liam Hemsworth. He's everyone's favorite Hemsworth, right?
Yeah. It's such a weird choice to. I'm interested to see what he looks like, just because like in my head, Liam is like a much smaller man.
Yes.
Well, if anything, he'll be a bit more like book accurate.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because that Geralt is more ninja-ish.
He's more wiry and very lean and everything. Not like this massive guy who has to like go sideways through doors like Cavill was. Yeah.
But yeah, so this was really surprising to people, me especially, because I hadn't been keeping up with The Witcher. It was one of those things I kept meaning to watch. I haven't watched Severance either. There's a bunch of shows I need to actually watch. And the thing with that is I'm like, wow, they must The Rock and his manager, who make no mistake, they are the ones who brought Cavill back to the Superman role. He can say the fans, he can say whoever he wants, but it was his fucking friend and manager who told him to do the thing. And I'm like, geez, they must really have promised him the sun and the stars to back out of a comfy multi-season streaming gig.
Yeah. Well, as well, I know like Cavill, while doing Witcher, he got hurt quite a fair few times.
Did he? Oh, did he do
Like
his own stunts and shit?
he done a lot of his own stunts. There was some stuff with doubles, but they used it more so. Like the last one he did, he like he like broke his hamstring and then almost like ripped
Ugh.
off the bone
Yeah, I
while he
mean,
was
it
doing
was
a
a very
stunt.
physical, demanding performance from even
Yeah.
just what little of it I saw.
Yeah, so that could also be a factor of like, okay, I don't really want to put my body through this,
I'm getting older.
for another and then yeah, then obviously like maybe Superman came back up and like, right, yep, I'm going into it. I've been promised again, like he said, like what did he get promised? Maybe he got promised like control or like producer
Maybe.
credits or something,
Maybe. I mean, The Rock gets executive producer credits on everything he does, and
Yeah.
like I said, they have the same manager.
Yeah, maybe he gets to like choose the writer or something, or choose like have say in who directs it and something.
Yeah, maybe. And I mean, I'm sure on some level too, a guy like that who we know is a nerd himself
Hmm.
is probably like, maybe I wasn't happy with how that Superman movie was remembered. I don't want to go down in history as the worst movie Superman.
Well, he has gone on record in the days since being announced that he's going to come back as a joyful, happy Superman.
I did see that. Maybe this is, more of a legacy thing where it's like, look, I want to try and put it right. And as no more than two people were quick to tell us, Matt, and I know we want to set the record straight on this one, even just from a cultural fandom point of view, people were quick to say, oh, he was unhappy on the Witcher show because, the people writing it weren't fans.
That's such like a bullshit like excuse.
And I heard it twice from two different people.
Yeah. Yeah, fucking
Which,
just because you're a true fan doesn't mean you're the best person to be writing this sort of stuff. Like I'm a really big Superman fan. I would never
mm-hmm,
fucking write a Superman film or direct it.
mm-hmm.
I'm way too invested in that character to do that.
Yep. Yep. Ditto me with Green Arrow. I would get all in my head. I would get in the weeds. I would write a terrible Green Arrow
Yeah,
story
yeah, yeah.
because I love it too much. And you had mentioned before Gilroy in Andor. He wasn't really a
Yeah.
fan of Star Wars, apparently, and he's done maybe one of the most interesting Star Wars things
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. Tony Gilroy, he's gone on record to say I wasn't interested in Star Wars, never really was. And yeah, he did Rogue One and he did Andor, and they're two of like the best Star Wars things to ever come out of this new Disney era.
It's a weird bit of fan entitlement we see all the time there where it's like, no, only people like me
Yeah,
can write on these things.
yeah,
Let's not forget for a fact that like geek media is the biggest goddamn thing in the world right now. You've already won, but it's like, no, I need more.
yeah. And as well, like with something like The Witcher, that's not exactly something easy that's easy to translate
Mm,
to screen, especially like those first couple of books, which like the first season does really well with the time jumps and time skips and everything. You've got to try and wrangle that into like a visual media, which is very hard.
yeah, for sure. Kali Frederick helping us out again. Strange, The Variant, Strange Academy have been my top books of this week. Love Clea in Strange Relationships, how she stays around when he's revived. Yeah, I'm loving The Variants too, actually. I just read that before we started.
I haven't read any of those books.
It's Variants is a mini, so it'll be done soon. It's Gail
Mhm.
Simone writing the next chapter of Jessica Jones.
Yeah, yeah,
It's funny, it's dark. There's an amazing cameo in this week's issue.
yeah. Oh, nice.
Basically, it's like, no, the purple man's in my head fucking with me. What do? I know, I'm gonna call Luke, have him call Wolverine, and have Wolverine call Professor fucking X to get inside my head and beat the shit out of the ghost of Purple Man. Oh, Xavier's so good, and that's like, oh, Purple Man, you like to mess with people's minds, huh? You think you're a real master of the mental arts? Well, fuck you, son. You're a goddamn cockroach to me, bitch.
I'm honestly surprised Xavier did that. I was
I know.
I'd be the first thing I would have asked was like, okay, what does he want in return?
I bet Wolverine's like, I know exactly what to say to Chuck. Yeah, there's this purple man who says he's a better psychic guy than you are. Is he? Nah, he uses pheromones and shit. Oh, well,
Yeah.
fuck that guy.
Yeah, he knows about some secret you're trying to keep from the world. You've got to stop him,
Logan, get my coat. I'm going there. Where's this guy who was talking all that good shit before? Yeah, it's kind of nice to see Xavier use his psychic powers for, like, good and not want anything in return over the last couple years.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm beating you up because this was the right thing to do. Hey, I can still be a hero sometimes. But yeah, the variants is great. Everyone, go read the variants if you have. In fact, the next issue is the last one.
Nice.
We're still working our way through news too, actually. So Vision Quest, the Green Lantern show. The big new rumor too for the Marvel movies is Harrison Ford joining the cast now to play Thunderbolt Ross? Probably.
I'm pretty sure it's confirmed now.
Okay, is it confirmed? It wasn't confirmed when
I'm
wrote it
pretty
down.
sure it was announced by Deadline, and they're a reputable source.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah, fine. I'm honestly surprised he is up for it.
I know. I'm shocked he would want to do it because it seems like he doesn't really like any of the big series he's involved in.
Yeah, well, maybe they said, "Hey, you just got to appear in these couple of films, and then the rest is just CGI. And just like, we'll
you
we'll
can call it in.
Give you a huge bag of weed, and you can just like zoom in your voiceover." Yeah,
that's what it sounded like. All you got to do is grow this mustache, and we will pay you in weed and snacks.
Yeah.
He's like, I can do it. Can you be gruff? Can I be gruff? Also, you got to think, where are we going to see Thunderbolt Ross next? Will it be in that next Hulk project?
Maybe. I'm trying to think.
Will it be in the Thunderbolts movie that they're still kind of developing right now?
Yeah.
That's what the real question becomes. Where are we going to see him again?
Yeah, I would have assumed. I know probably not, but I would have assumed we would have seen him in like Wakanda Forever or something.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
I mean, maybe that could be why it was announced. Never know.
Yeah. Harrison Ford watch starts now. When are we gonna see him? Who knows? Collie Frederick saying, have you guys talked about the rumors of a Silver Surfer special presentation? I don't even know that exists, but I think he'd be perfect.
I'd heard rumors. It's only like unsubstantiated rumors that like he'll get one of those like Guardians special presentation one shots. I mean, he's pretty set up for one.
Yeah, I think you could tell a really good Silver Surfer story in the span of one of those special presentations.
Yeah, the problem with the Silver Surfer though is that he comes with the Galactus baggage, and I feel like Galactus is like his own like phase villain.
Yeah, that's true.
If you tease him now, people are going to expect him soon.
If you did it, it would be more of a Norrin Rad movie, like make it his origin story, and it literally ends. The final shot is just like the big hand of Galactus.
Yeah, you'd have to do something like that. But then again, I don't think like people would be interested in that because they'd be like, yeah, Silver Surfer. That means Galactus has to show up. You do like 90% of it is just Norrin Rad and his family, and then they get obliterated.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a very interesting movie.
No.
Or you do it like way later in the timeline. It's like, okay, here's a Silver Surfer who maybe is trying to run away from Galactus, and you imply his existence but never actually see him.
Mm-hmm.
Have him be like, oh, I'm the Silver Surfer. I'm this most powerful being in the universe, and I'm running from something. I'm afraid of something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an idea.
Yeah.
We do got some comic news here too. The Flash 1 Minute War is the next big Flash event storyline. You've been keeping up with Flash, Matt. What's 1 Minute War all about?
It's literally like what it sounds like. There's like a war that takes place over a minute because of speed, time, and all that shit.
So it's basically like Sonic time in some of the best episodes of Justice League Flash, where he gets trapped going too fast.
Kinda, yeah.
I've always loved those Flash stories. Those are always some of my favorites.
And
the fact that they're kind of building an event out of it is pretty cool. Is this just a storyline, or will this be, crossing over with other stuff?
I think this is just in the Flash book. 1 minute. Is it? Yeah, I think it's just in the Flash book, as far as I know.
Okay, because the way they were selling it to me like, oh, it's the next big event, which is a shame too, because like outside Flashpoint, when was the last time Flash got to headline an event?
Yeah, that's very true. I guess like it's an event within like the book itself. Like it's the new Flash event. Yeah,
Moving on from there, Normie Osborn is going to be back again as the Red Goblin for a special dark web tie-in.
Normie Osborn.
That is his name. He is Normie Osborn. It'll be interesting to see because, what's going on with Normie right now, because I guess his dad, Harry, is dead. I guess he's living with, his wife, who is fucking around with the symbiotes over in the Venom book. and his granddad, who, oh yeah, well, we did see him with his granddad, who is good now in the Spider-Man book. He was like babysitting the kids for the day. So that's interesting. Also, is this Red Goblin going to be good or evil?
I mean, he's red, and red's usually an evil color, you know.
And they were kind of like writing him that he was already like a bit of a psychopath before all of this. At least Kate's was. I don't think anyone else ever picked up on that. They had a whole issue with him and Dylan Brock, Dylan who like aged like 8 goddamn years in between issues. Where it's like, oh, they were like riffing on the good son, and he was like the Haley Joel Osment kid.
Okay.
And that was fun for like a minute. But I think they kind of want him to be like maybe a new Carnage-esque anti-hero. I can only assume this is building up to that whole Summer of Symbiotes event that's coming in 2023.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Summer of Symbiotes is coming soon. It's like the Summer of George. Get ready. That also means I'm going to have to go back and catch up on Venom, and maybe now I can because Judgment Day is over.
Yeah.
And speaking of dark web, another big dark web tie-in, because, oh yeah, they're really using this series as a launching pad for a bunch of new shit. Are you ready for the brand new anti-villainous hero? I have no idea what she's supposed to be, but her name is Hallows Eve. And she's got like a pumpkin-themed costume.
Oh, God.
And she's going to be a whole big new thing.
No.
The most interesting thing about Hallows Eve is, what is it? One of our friends of the show there, creator of Hack Slash and many other things, Grayson.
Tim Seeley?
Yeah, Tim Seeley. Apparently, he had tried to pitch a different Hallows Eve thing to Marvel, and they shot it down.
This is like the second thing. Wasn't he doing that fucking Blade book as well?
Yes, he was. Blade's daughter.
And they're bringing that back now as well. They're just fucking taking the man's ideas.
All of his ideas and like just not giving him creative control. He wrote about it on Twitter in kind of like, hey, you know, them's the breaks. That's, you know, how, you know, the comic industry works sometimes. He showed his sketch. His sketch is much better.
Yeah.
Yes, his sketch is way better. You know, thank God that the man, you know, has... you know, that he's such a professional and he's so respectable and everything, because if they stole my idea, I'd never shut the fuck up about it.
I'd say like 2 is kind of a coincidence, but if it happens again, if like some other creation he's made that they passed on and then suddenly in a couple of years gets like brought back, I'd be like, okay, you know, fun's over. It's time to sue.
Yeah, his Hallows Eve is actually really awesome. The one he did. Again, you can find, if you search Tim Seeley Hallows Eve, it'll take you directly to the tweet. It's cool. She's got like this kind of like scarecrow rope around the neck thing with orange and black and a white hood. It's really solid.
Nice.
Like here, I'll read the actual tweet just to show you how stuff works sometimes. Here's a character I designed for a pitch I was working on earlier this summer named Hallows, only with an apostrophe S, Eve, and a brand new Marvel series announced at New York Comic Con called Hallows Eve. No apostrophe. No one stole from anybody. Sometimes ideas are just up in the air. I don't know, man. This is really, really specific.
This isn't the first time Marvel has done this, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Blade's daughter thing was more like they took a project away from him, and now they're bringing it back because, you know, they feel that, you know, like attitudes have changed about it because people had a couple years to think about it and be like, geez, why did we shout down that idea? That was a bad idea.
That's true.
Oh, hey, as I'm on Twitter right now to look at this, 27 minutes ago, DC's Pride Anthology from 2021 actually won the Ringo Award for Best Anthology.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
It's a very good collection. Both of those Pride books were really solid collections and really great showcases for talent. I'm glad it won an award. So there you go. There's some Ringo news in there for you, everyone. All right, and with that, we're officially done all the news. We officially covered everything. Oh boy, was that a lot.
That was a lot of news, yeah.
That was a lot. With that, we can hop over into what we read this week. There wasn't a lot that came out this week, but what did come out was pretty big and impactful.
It was.
All right, where would we like to start, Matt?
Well, let's start with Judgment Day. The end of Judgment Day.
Yes, the big finale, though I think we're getting an Omega issue after this, but still, this is, for all intents and purposes, the end of the story. And I gotta say, I think they actually, stuck the landing on this one.
They did. I know a lot of people weren't very happy with the ending, just because, from what I've seen, it's because people were expecting, like, all the world's heroes will get together and punch the big bad guy, and that doesn't actually happen, which is really fucking cool.
Yeah, it was never that sort of story. In
No.
fact, you get to see the heroes under pressure, Iron Man especially, where he's like, shit, we got to find a third way out of this problem. We actually can't punch it. That's like part of the thing that ups the ante.
Yeah, and it was literally like one of the running themes in the story, like the progenitor, especially with like characters like Jean Grey, where like the progenitor is like, oh, she always resorts to violence and bullying people, and here she did exactly that, and it almost cost them the world.
Yeah, this is also the first event in like forever where I think, oh my god, every tie-in was actually important.
Yeah, well, except for the fucking Wolverine and I don't
Well,
know what the fuck just Benjamin Percy was doing there, but yeah,
every tie-in written by Gillen was important.
yeah, it really was, yeah,
Which is
yeah,
still like 18 tie-ins.
yeah, that and like X-Men Red as well.
Oh yeah, very much X-Men Red.
Yeah.
But yeah, they win the day, essentially, the heroes in this story, by changing their tactics and throwing themselves on the mercy of the rest of the world for their own judgment. I had forgotten because we were this late in the story. I'm like, oh yeah, no one has actually revealed yet the secrets to how the Eternals can live forever.
Yeah, that was the one thing that made Cersei fail her test, because
Mm.
she kept she kept that lie going, and I like that here, that she gets that moment where it's like, oh, we can't, us Eternals can't change. Well, I'm gonna fucking show you, and
Yeah.
and tells everyone, and it ends with her dying, and probably dying permanently as well.
Yes, I know, right? That's the other funny thing about this issue, is that it's an issue that, like, in a story that doesn't really sugarcoat things, where it's like, yeah, if the world was to be judged tomorrow, we would probably lose because
Hmm.
we do suck.
Yeah.
It's very that last Planet of the Apes trilogy, where it's like, why are we all gonna die? Because we suck. Like, yes, in the last couple minutes we would try, and some of us would be heroes unto ourselves, but it still wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, Steve gets that great moment with Jada where he's like, yeah, the world is like quite shitty, but you never know.
You never know. It's like the world is shitty, but good stuff still happens here sometimes in spite of that.
Yeah.
It's a very nice moment. Also, hey, Steve is the first human to be resurrected via mutant
Hmm.
resurrection protocols, and they kind of breeze right past that, but I bet you that's going to be important later.
Like, yeah, well, like Cohen conspiracy Alex Jones in me
Hmm.
wants to like think, oh, Xavier fucking did something to him,
To him, yeah.
put something fucking in his mind to be able to control him if they ever need to, if they
To
get into
make him a
another
sleeper and
fucking war with the Avengers or something,
yeah,
yeah,
to make him a sleeper agent later. Also,
yeah,
too, where did they get the backup? Because they make a big point of being like, oh,
yes, yes.
Cerebro keeps all the backups, but only for mutants. Where did they keep his back? Where did you get it from? Where?
Yeah, yeah.
Where?
You've been taking these humans engrams,
Yeah.
unwillingly against their will, you know.
There's a lot of hanging threads here that I hope Gillen picks up on, either in Immortal X-Men or somewhere else. Like the idea too, where it's like, oh, Sinister was never judged.
Yeah, that was like a running. I kind of think that should just be left as a joke.
Yeah.
Like I like that where he like throughout the last couple of issues, he's just like why aren't I being judged? Like he's so like
Upset about it.
obsessed that he doesn't get judged where everyone else does.
And we do know that what is it? The next big X-Men event is going to be Sins of Sinister. So I wonder if he's going to have a big aha moment to be like, yeah, and God didn't judge me because
Yeah, maybe that leads to it. Like he's realized,
maybe.
like, hey, God didn't judge me for what I've done so far, so maybe he won't judge me for what I do next.
Why should I stop?
Yeah.
Uh, a cowboy helping us out there in the chat. Matt, how would you rank Gotham Knight versus the Batman and Arkham games? Off subject, did you guys watch Gotham or Pennyworth? We watched one episode of Pennyworth, and Matt watched a couple more.
Yeah, I did watch a couple. You should definitely keep up with it. It's so fucking good. It's violent as fuck.
Yeah, from what I understand, man, Epic's not
And
holding
they're
back.
like, every other word is fuck and shit, and oh my god, it's really great, quite great. And they kill characters you don't expect to be killed.
It's definitely not the show I thought it was. I watched like 2 seasons of Gotham waiting for it to get good, and it was just kind of infuriating. I
Yeah.
know apparently by the end, if you're willing to take the ride, it went like full, like silly big brain, like, oh my god, what are they gonna do next?
Yeah, yeah.
And as far as Gotham Knight versus the Batman Arkham games, watch the beginning of the show, because Matt and I actually do go into that.
Yeah, it's a 7 out of 10 game, yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty 7.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other big thing that came about because of Judgment Day is the mutants were forced to share their healings or their resurrection stuff with the rest of the world, and Jean Grey starts the Phoenix Institute.
Phoenix Foundation.
Oh, was it? Why did I think it was an institute? Well, either way.
Yeah, yeah, and I like that she makes the distinction that this isn't Krakoa doing it; it's the X-Men doing it.
Yes, it's divorced from the often crooked Krakoan Council.
Yeah, yeah, and how they managed to somehow get the five to work with them is, well, I guess like it's the whole thing. What Scott says was like, who could object to like helping a poor, impoverished, sick child? You know, you'd have to be a fucking monster.
Yeah, and it's only 5%. They're like, we're still dedicated to our 10-year plan of resurrecting all the dead mutants, but we're going to actually take a page, I guess, out of Magneto's book in X-Men Red, where they talked about the whole, we should be aligning ourselves with other oppressed people all over the world.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, again, like, it was a great use of the line that Ewing wrote for, I think it was Sync, just before like the newest run of X-Men started, where it's like the X-Men are there to help everyone any way they can. And it was a great sort of like, that's like the mantra of the X-Men going forward.
Definitely. Bland Boy helping us out. Interviewer, so are you excited to be playing General Ross in the Thunderbolts movie? Harrison Ford, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. I'm sure that's how it went. Money, please.
Yeah.
Kali back again, helping us out. Have either of you guys read 8 Billion Genies? Also, do you think recent Black Cat and Spider-Man relationship will go anywhere? Haven't read 8 Billion Genies, but I have heard of it, though.
I have not heard of it.
Again, because how do you not remember a title like 8 Billion Genies?
Yeah, yeah.
And as far as Black Cat and Spider-Man goes, do any of his relationships last or go anywhere?
No, they don't, which is why I don't understand why people get so uppity about his relationships.
I know. I've given up hope completely about his relationships. What happens, happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll talk more about Spider-Man in a minute, too. Also, too, speaking of Magneto on the Magneto bent, he died and stayed dead.
Yeah, again, that's like something very surprising. I imagine he's got to come back in some way. Like Xavier will reveal he'll have like an emergency backup that was like offline, on cloud storage somewhere.
Theory time, Matt, and you can tell me if you think I'm talking out my ass or not on this one. So there'd been a lot of talk there for a while about what they were going to do with Xavier and Magneto when it comes to the new movie.
Yep.
And the talk is that maybe they wanted to go with some colorblind casting, maybe the idea of having a guy be a World War II Holocaust survivor would be a little weird in 2022 because he would be ancient and everything, and they need to cast, someone younger who can do multiple movies. My theory is they're going to actually keep Magneto dead for a little bit, and when they do resurrect him, it'll be more in line with whatever they decide they're going to do for the movie.
I could see that. The one thing I'm thinking of is that they're going to resurrect him, not specifically straight away. They'll resurrect him, but because it'll be an old version, he'll be a villain again, and he'll be something. He'll be like the catalyst that somehow fucks up Krakoa.
Interesting.
Just like it did with Genosha.
Oh, I like that. He'll be the old-timey Magneto, not like the new, more nuanced, I've lived a whole life and seen some shit, man. I'm the kill them all, let God sort them out one.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that, too. That's a good way to set him back, to be like, yep, I'm the Magneto you remember, but I don't remember anything I learned.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty okay way to reset shit.
Yeah.
Also, Orchis got involved at the end here. They were defending Earth, and because people hate Eternals now as much as they hate mutants, it's implied that Orchis walked away from this stronger than anyone else.
There's kids with like Orchis shirts and like Nimrod like balloons. Yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense because they're like, okay, the mutants are like down for the count. Let's step in and make them look even bad by like taking their place and like doing it better, sort of thing. Makes total sense.
Real solid writing, too, and it also reminded me, it's like, yeah, they're run by robots. What does a robot care about being judged? What does a robot care about the afterlife?
Exactly.
It's so beautiful. I would have loved if, like, the Celestial had come to Omega Sentinel, and Omega Sentinel's like, bitch,
yeah, I
am my own god. I am a living machine.
Yeah, yeah.
My very existence and singularity disproves most of your bullshit. Do I have a soul, you tell me? My silicon soul. See there, I just wrote the next big event for you there, Kieran Gillen. There's my pitch for you. Judgment Day 2, robots as well. But yeah, Judgment Day, I thought actually ended quite strong. Very interesting event, very different than a lot of the
Yes.
other Marvel events, and I think this one will actually be remembered very well, especially once it's collected in trade.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very, very cool event, and one of the biggest things it ends with is Ajak becoming the new eternal
Yeah.
god, like the one devout zealot becomes their own god, which is very fitting.
Ajax Celeste. Yeah, absolutely. Like so much of her story is like I quest for a god I can believe in, a god who is worthy of my fever and fanaticism. I find this god weak and lacking, and in doing so, I become my own god
Hmm.
who forever stands ready because every day is Judgment Day now.
Yeah, yeah,
And I'm like, it's a pretty fucking metal way to end that story.
it is. It's pretty fucking cool.
It's pretty fucking cool. Which I guess is just Eternal start back up again is just like a solo series now.
Well, that's what I'm wondering because like, Icarus is dead, Cersei is
Mm-hmm.
dead.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really get much Sprite or Gilgamesh. Fastos is still
No.
alive. So like they're all
Yeah.
kind of like in nebulous places. So I could see it starting back up, but you'd have to get like newer
Yeah, I guess
Eternals, and I
so.
guess that would be a good chance to bring in some new
It would be
characters, new Eternal
fresh blood.
characters. Yeah, would be a great
Uranus
choice.
is still alive, which I thought was
Yes.
super interesting. I thought he was going to be the big bad of this series, and he ended up not being.
Yeah, Uranus is still alive, and the Eternals gifted him for 1 hour to the mutants, which is like it's like a Chekhov's fucking doomsday weapon they
Very
have.
much so.
What the
Yeah, at
fuck are they
any
gonna do
moment.
with that?
Yeah, at any moment we could let this go. Hey, maybe that's how they do it. Hey, Uranus, we're gonna throw you at the friggin' Orcha space station.
That'd actually be pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, here's an angry
But
space god for all
yeah,
you shitty robots.
and as well, what comes with him is that if he dies, the Earth dies as well.
Yeah, I guess yes, because he said he booby trapped it to his brothers. We don't know if he was lying or not.
I'm pretty sure he did. I don't.
I
Uranus is pegged as like a guy who won't. He won't use deception. That's something
yeah,
Droog would use.
very much so. Yeah, and Droog is his cellmate now, which is hilarious.
Yes, he's his bottom now. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You get the bottom bunk now, Droog. I love that that's like the cosmic superhero version of that. I'm like, oh, that's definitely what they're implying here. I've been alone for a thousand years in this cage. Who wants some toilet wine?
He's blue, so you can't tell his balls are blue, you know?
No, you really get. I wasn't always like this when I came in here. Oh no, Droog. Oh, how'd I get myself into this situation? Oh, my actions. That's how. Damn. Now that was a big Marvel book this week. We had a big DC book this week too because Action Comics was back again.
Yes, with Kal-El Returns Part 3.
Yes, the continuation. Man, after how big friggin' Warworld saga was, I think you and I were both pretty confident. Like, yeah, we're gonna slow things down a little bit. We're gonna be going back to Earth, having more classic Superman stories, fighting Metallo. No, Philip Kennedy Johnson says that was a swerve.
Yeah, he's building up to whatever is coming in Action Comics 1050, which he hasn't revealed yet.
No, it's a
But apparently
mystery.
it's going to be something very big, which causes all these other books to change as well. But yeah, fucking the New Gods and Metron show up because releasing the Fire of Olgrin is like a fucking crisis level event.
Yeah, to them, which I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. They're the new gods. They live in fear of the old gods, of which Ulgrim was the
They're,
most powerful.
they're the fourth world, and Olgrin is from the first world.
Yeah, so it makes sense that he's like their boogeyman. And
Mhm.
it's like, oh, his power was only matched by his madness, and we fear Superman that madness might take you. And he's like, what? No, what? I'm Superman. No, I used it to save a life. I saved that kid over there. Ah, then give us the kid.
Yeah, give us the kid. He's got the Fire of Olgrin.
It's like the fucking One Ring over here. They're all going crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, even Orion, who's normally shown to be like a pretty chill dude, at least as far as like new gods go, even he's out of his friggin' mind.
Yeah, he's all panicky and everything, yeah.
Which, hey, we talked about before about how like Superman has only fought Black Adam like twice. Why are people more interested in Superman versus Orion? Because he's fought him like a dozen times.
Yeah, Orion's kind of like a very niche character.
I guess thematically they make way more sense, don't they? Because it's like,
Hmm.
hey, you were raised by a different world. I was raised by a different world. In fact, Superman calls him out on his hypocrisy, being like, seriously, Orion, dude, you want to steal this kid from his new home and the only family he's ever known when literally that was done to you?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what are you doing, mate?
Yeah, you've completely
It,
lost it.
your helmet's getting a bit too tight around your face, you know?
For real. And then Philip Kennedy Johnson does the best, smartest, most clever thing where I like literally fist pumped. I thought this was so smart. Superman basically has a Nom flashback to his dad, Mr. Oz,
Yes.
taking John away from him.
Yeah, he
And
doesn't want
all
that
of the
happening again. And yeah,
yeah, history will not repeat itself. I did nothing in that story. I stood by because Ben just wrote me like a fucking idiot, and because that story existed to serve a purpose. Superman says no more, no more wormhole shenanigans. Not while I'm around.
yeah. Tevia, we've told you this I don't know how many times, but John Kent is not getting de-aged. So just,
Not happening.
you don't need to keep bringing it up.
Shit, if anything, the fact that there are two new twins, two new
Yes,
adopted kids for
proves it
Superman
won't
in this
happen.
further proves that that's not that says Philip Kennedy Johnson had plans for Superman as a dad and Lois as a mother, and they're gonna tell him with the twins now.
Yeah, so just get over it. You'll be a lot happier if you did.
Yes, really. Well, one must learn to move on. But yeah, so really solid story. Was not expecting them to use the new gods the way they
Mm,
are, and I
yeah.
genuinely kind of love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool seeing Calabac and all of these guys. Fucking Bibbo,
Yes, oh my god.
getting ready to fucking sock Calabac in the face.
Love that. And him being like, I don't know what you guys are doing here, but if you don't pay the
Yeah,
22.50
I
for the
I like
suit.
that it's not just because they were like aliens or anything. It's because they got into the zoo free.
Yeah, they did. They broke the rules, and
Yeah,
the rules are
yeah,
important.
yeah. It's great. I like that they used Bibbo in this as like Osel and Othel's like first like human experience. So
Absolutely.
we're
Look,
gonna like Bibbo deal with it, the most like pure, kind-hearted
hearted
guy
human.
ever. He's gonna give him ice cream and like tell him about
Absolutely.
lions and make him
It's
like
great.
talk about lions.
It's beautiful where it's like, look, we need to show these kids the beauty and worth of humanity because they might very well be asked to defend them one day or will be hated and feared by that humanity. So we need to show them the best parts of
Yeah,
humanity.
yeah,
that we are worth saving and we don't all suck.
yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Bibbo. Thanks just for being pure and good. We love you for it. But yeah, that's a super strong story. Again, to think we're in a time, when Action Comics is like arguably like the best it's been in a long time.
It's so fucking good.
Superman books in general, and we know it's only going to be even more so because we got the Joshua Williamson book, we got the Adventures of Superman coming back. It's just a great time for Superman books. It really is. What else did we have this week? Oh, I had Amazing Spider-Man number 12.
Tell me about that.
So we got more hobgoblins.
Okay.
More hobgoblins and an incredibly deep cut on Zeb Wells' part. They bring back the Winkler machine.
They keep saying it's going to be the summer of symbiotes, but really it's the summer of goblins, it sounds like.
It really is. You're not wrong about that at all. Do you know what the Winkler machine is, Matt?
No, I don't. Does it make people Henry Winkler?
I wish. That would be an
Oh,
amazing
fuck. That reminds me. No one really talked about this, but in Black Adam, the original Atom Smasher is Henry Winkler.
Oh, really?
Like, he appears because like the Atom Smasher in the film is like his grandson or something, and he appears and he's the one who gives him like the suit and everything.
Oh, that's wild. Well,
Yeah.
I remember apparently hearing that the script actually had Stargirl in it at some point.
Oh,
but they
yeah,
had
that
to
makes
take her
sense.
out.
That makes sense, yeah.
That's fucking wild. Okay, well now I gotta see the movie. That's what they should have led with. Forget everything
Yeah, he
else.
should have
Say
been.
that-
Fuck Superman at the end of the film. Put Henry Winkler there.
Yeah, the goddamn Fonz is fucking Atom Smasher, man. I'm all about that. But yeah, the Winkler machine is an incredible deep cut from Spider-Man lore. Basically, Dr. Winkler was an evil scientist that Kingpin hired to build him a brainwashing machine. So like every time a Spider-Man character got brainwashed, which happened like all the fucking time back in like the late 80s, early 90s, it was the Winkler machine.
Okay.
It was the Winkler machine that originally tricked Ned Leeds into thinking he was the Hobgoblin.
Okay.
And so they've dug that back out again because apparently, I guess, goddamn the original Hobgoblin, Roderick Kingsley is getting nostalgic, so he's putting Ned back in it, but like Ned's fighting against it, which is making them all weird and unstable and everything. And it ends with Peter having to fight two hobgoblins at once, which is an idea they've done like two other times before.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's fine, but it also feels a little repetitive, and like I'm kind of like, geez, this book's gonna lose its momentum too because we're gonna be doing Dark Web like right after this. That's my problem with this book. It feels like every time it gets any bit of momentum going, it just gets stopped. And it's a real bummer. BB Metalhead helping us out again. Thank you, BB. Speaking of New Gods, has anyone noticed the credit to Jack Kirby and the Fourth World at the end credits of Black Adam? What was that about? Huh. Well, Matt, you saw the movie. I didn't. You tell me.
I don't really know. I guess maybe what was the not vibranium metal, the Ethereum or whatever the fuck it was called. Maybe that was accredited to him, maybe?
Again, yeah, that's the thing. He's a dude who created so freaking
Yeah,
much.
it could just be one little thing.
Yeah, exactly. He created so for. Did he create Sabak? Is that a Jack Kirby creation?
Are they implying... Did he have a hand in creating that version of Hawkman?
Quite possibly. I don't know. Huh.
Although that version of Carter Hall, they're not really... They play very coy with whether he's an alien or a reincarnated. Although in saying that, they're both exactly the same person now in the comics.
Yeah, how about that? Also, that's another thing apparently the movie doesn't do. It doesn't actually bring Black Adam and Hawkman together over the fact that they're technically both from Egypt.
No, it doesn't. It's the most obvious fucking thing, and they completely disregard it.
Oh, you can tell that that's a freaking movie they wrote 15 years ago and did nothing else. Because if you brought that up now to people, they would be jumping at the opportunity to make that connection.
Yeah, holy shit. It's like, we fought him back in fucking 684 AD or something.
I remember you. Was Intergang in the movie? Did he create... Kirby created Intergang, of course.
Yeah, they were the second big bad guys, yeah.
Oh, I fucking love Intergang, but I'm guessing I probably wouldn't like how they were done in the movie.
They're literally like faceless goons who ride like hover bikes, yeah.
That's a shit.
There's no... to my knowledge, there's no like set leader. They're all like in service of Sabak. There's no Bruno Mannheim or Crime Bible or anything. Yeah.
See, that's such a missed opportunity. The Intergang could be so cool in one of these things, but they never let them be that cool.
No, they're like a paramilitary company who like runs Kandak.
Yeah. Sure, why not? But why do they have gang in their name? Shut up. That's why. That's why. Like, they literally could have been anyone.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
But they just threw the name Intergang on there because...
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, yeah, Spider-Man. Spider-Man, kind of disappointing because they played their hand way too early. Because I'm like, I could have freaking called that twist, and I did. And I was disappointed to be right. I had one more book this week. What about you?
I had two more.
All right, let's hear them.
I had Iron Man issue 24, the penultimate issue of Christopher Cantwell's run, and final issue of this Source Control story.
Yeah, it's ticking down, you're saying, which means I might have to actually go back and revisit.
Yeah, so Tony and Rhodey and some of his friends have been gathered. They've gone undercover as arms dealers to buy up all of Source Control's weapons because they sell literal doomsday weapons like brood eggs and the 10 rings of the Mandarin, which is what Tony wants to get. Shit. And he tries to buy them. We find out like Source Control is run by Spy Master, and he's got like Titanium Man working for him, and
another nice pull.
Cobalt Man showed up in the last issue with the 10 rings because he bought the 10 rings. And so this issue was Tony fighting Cobalt Man and everything, but Cobalt Man suddenly turns on Spy Master and like zaps them away with like the rings. And as here we find out Cobalt Man isn't actually Cobalt Man. Cobalt Man is Riri Williams.
That's actually super awesome.
And we find out that Riri was actually investigating Source Control as well and doing exactly what Tony was doing and buying up all of their tools. And she's kind of pissed that Tony didn't come to her for help in doing this because she would have obviously helped him. And we find out that she doesn't actually want to like because Tony wants to destroy the rings. He wants to destroy all these weapons, but she doesn't want to destroy the rings because she knows they can be used in other ways other than a weapon. Because like
Right.
she is like extensively studied all of the rings, she knows them. She quizzes Iron Man. I'm like, okay, so what does this one do? What does this one do? And he doesn't know. He just knows, oh, ring bad because Mandarin used them. And
Obviously.
and a lot of the issue is them sort of arguing over like, okay, well, like how can we work this out? Because Riri wants to keep the rings and use them to help
Hmm.
contribute to like scientific research and everything, while Tony wants to destroy them. And they get into like a real fight of like Tony not being able to like really work with people all that well, or he uses them as tools. They're not like
Hmm.
colleagues. He sees them as just like a tool in his toolbox, which
Right.
fits in well with the story because I think I told you that like Force got involved in this as well.
Yes. Holy shit! I
Yeah,
couldn't believe that.
yeah, he in the last issue he actually got hit by like a time displacement ray and got sent back a week, and it led to him being betraying Tony, which was of course going to happen. But he made a good point of like Tony always uses the people around him as like tools because he's an engineer.
Eh.
You know, he engineers things and everything. And yeah, Riri gets into like a really big fight with Tony about like what to do with the rings, and yeah, she ends up leaving with them, and we don't really know what's going to happen with them.
Sounds like the stage is set for a big old finale.
Yeah, well, I think the finale is actually going to be a like a one
Special
shot.
issue.
Yeah, like a one shot, sort of
Oh,
like
that's cool.
separate story from all of this. But yeah, it's been a fucking great run.
Yeah, it sounds like they really gave Cantwell the chance to, play with the world and do a lot with it.
Yeah, we had like the big Korvac arc, we had this arc, we had Iron Man fighting evil Bear Grylls. You know,
They let him frickin' marry Tony off too.
he didn't technically marry Hellcat.
Oh, did he not? Was
No,
that
no,
not technicality?
she left him like she didn't give him an answer. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and
huh.
then there was like an annual special which like delved into like her complex relationships and it's strangely enough tied it into the whole Mephisto thing that's going on in Avengers as well.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, but yeah, no, yeah, this run has been so fucking good. I
Sounds like it used a lot of real Iron Man villains too, which
that
I
that's what was
appreciate.
really fucking cool. It didn't create new villains like all these other runs in the past have been doing.
Hmm.
It's just like, oh, we've got like Titanium Man and Cobalt Man and Stilt Man and Korvac, all these characters that already exist, and we're going to use all of them to really
Have been
great
used in
effect.
forever.
Yeah,
Hey, where's the gray gargoyle been at? There's a guy with a cool design who I don't think gets used enough.
he was in this.
Oh, was he
He was
really?
part of Tony's Space Warriors group with Scarlet Spider and Frogman and all that.
Well, there you go. I'm glad
Yeah,
someone remembered he existed.
he runs a bar in New York.
Oh, that's fucking yeah. He's got the mustache of a man who owns a bar.
Oh,
Last thing I read this week was the Batman Beyond the White Knight, #6, the penultimate issue.
I'm like 2 issues behind on this.
Ooh, then I won't try and spoil too much of this one for you. Let's just say action took a back seat to like some really, really deep dives into characterization and like past trauma. And man, I think the greatest thing about these White Knight books is really how Sean Gordon Murphy isn't afraid to write a deeply flawed and human Bruce Wayne.
Nice, nice.
This is the continuation of Bruce's apology tour, and he finally gets to Dick. And we finally get to learn, like, well, why did Dick break bad the way he did? Why is he working for Powers when no one else did? And it's because Dick has a kid,
Okay, yeah.
Jimmy Grayson, named after the departed Jim Gordon.
Oh, nice.
And he says, look, Bruce, it took me being a father and having a kid of my own to truly discover how fucked up and unhealthy our relationship was.
Hmm.
And Batman's like, you're right, Dick. I literally tried to live vicariously through you, the childhood I lost when my parents were killed. And I thought one day you would grow up and move on and marry Barbara and, I would be done. But no, you both became heroes in your own right. And you both redoubled your efforts to my way of life. And this weird fucked up cycle we've been doing never ended. And the only reason I broke out of jail is because I hated the idea of the legacy of Batman hurting more people, be it you, be it Terry, be it whoever. We have to put an end to it, essentially. And then at the other end of it, you have Harley Quinn being like, no, I call you Bats because that's who you are.
Okay.
That's you've always
Yeah,
been Batman. You know,
yeah.
you've never been able to reconcile these two sides of your personality. Batman gave you all the things you lost, this surrogate family, you know, this sense of love and purpose and everything. You know, Batman's not just something you can put to bed. That's why you've been having panic attacks.
Yeah, okay.
Because to end Batman would mean you lose everything and, you know, you wouldn't be a person anymore. It's like, wow, Murphy really settles on this idea where it's like the legacy of Batman could be a good, important thing for the city and for the people around him. But the legacy of Bruce Wayne is the, you know, messed up, fucked up one that he's going to have to fix.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, you know, most people don't really do the dichotomy that hard between Bruce and Batman. Where
Well,
Murphy's
usually
like,
it's
no,
done
no,
the other way around.
it is, isn't it? Where it's like, no,
Yeah.
Batman makes Bruce worthwhile. And in this, he's like, no, Bruce's problems make Batman less worth it. It's very interesting. It's very compelling shit. Can't wait for it to all shake out at the end. Oh, did I lose you?
That's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought I
I
lost you there
muted
for a
my
second.
mic to cough and I forgot to unmute
Oh,
it. Yeah.
okay. But yeah, it's really solid. I won't say any more about it. It's really good shit.
Awesome. Awesome.
Top notch, great art too. They do more of that whole shadow bit where the people are talking, but the shadows they cast are them in their costumes.
Oh, no. Yeah, I like that.
It's really really good.
Yeah.
What was the last one you had, Matt? Let's do this and let's take her home.
Last one I had was Star Wars Visions issue 1.
Oh, yes. It was a big week for Star Wars. We had more Andor, we had those Tales of the Jedi, and we had this.
Yeah, so this is at first I thought it was just a comic adaptation of the Visions anime, but it's
Same.
not. It's like continuation of those stories.
Oh, that's cool.
The first one is about the Ronin from the first one in the black and
Cool as
white.
fuck.
And it's done by the guy who created him. Blanking on his name. It's the guy who created Afro Samurai.
Oh, yes, that guy. Yeah, okay, that makes a ton of sense now. When I looked at that, I'm like, wow, this looks a lot like Afro Samurai. Yeah, because it is the same guy.
And this is what if that Ronin met Afro Samurai, like literally Afro Samurai. And
oh, well, all right then.
yeah. So the Ronin, he's like chilling out. He's like on a snowy planet. He's traveling with his droid, and he runs into like a blind guy who he literally looks like Afro Samurai, but he's blind.
Or Ninja, who was
Yeah.
the blind ninja from Afro Samurai.
Yeah. It literally looks exactly like him, and he shares like a hot spring with him, and they get talking, and the guy the Afro Samurai just starts sort of alluding to his past about how he was what was called a shogun, which is like their Jedi, and he fought in the Clone Wars, and we get to see like cool clones and like samurai armor and everything.
Nice.
And we start to learn a little bit more about him and how he fell from a great height after being blasted by lightning. And he went blind, and he saw the father from the Mortis arc
holy
from
shit.
Clone Wars, who told him to go to this planet where he'll find like the truth of the universe. And he's been like traveling the universe looking for this planet, which is very hard for him because he's fucking blind.
Naturally.
And then like before they part ways, the Ronin, because he was ex-Sith, thinks that this Jedi Master is going to kill him because he's Sith. And he gets a flash of what would happen if he did, and the Afro Samurai would attack him and kill him with a purple lightsaber, because this Afro Samurai is actually Mace Windu.
No, Sam Jackson, who was the voice of the Afro Samurai in the English dub. No, yes.
It's Mace Windu who survived his encounter with Palpatine and made it to this planet. And he gets this like force vision of Mace like killing him, and he tells his droid he's lucky he didn't like touch his blade, otherwise he'd be dead. And Mace leaves him with like the lines like, "Okay, I'm leaving now. This party's over," and it just like disappears into like the snow, never to be seen again.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That's so fucking
yeah.
cool.
I love that. Like, it's basically Afro Samurai and Mace Windu combined, just because they were both played by Samuel L. Jackson.
Same guy.
It's so cool.
That's amazing. That feels like that shouldn't be legal. That feels like he got away with something when he did that.
It feels like because he owns the characters, he's allowed to do that.
I wonder if the real Samuel L. Jackson saw that. It's like, all right, when are we doing the sequel? When are we doing the movie?
I hope someone showed him that.
Oh, you know he did. You know he's on top of all
Oh
of this,
yeah,
Samuel L.
yeah.
Jackson. And it's like, all right, so when we're done Nick Fury, we're gonna do Blind Mace Windu, huh? It's gonna be a 6-episode
He can
series.
voice him in Vision season 2 or something.
Yep. My God, that's glory. Okay, see, I gotta hunt that shit down now. You sold me on that. You sold an issue
Yeah.
of that to
Oh,
me.
it's so good, and because like the guy, he writes and does the art to it as well. It looks like Afro Samurai.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's
10
so
out of
good.
10.
I'm really intrigued to see what the other stories are going to be. Whether they're going to
Absolutely, yeah.
continue like the Ninth Jedi or
Mm-hmm.
any of the other ones from that show, because there were some really cool stories in
There was.
that series.
Tell me if we get to hear the next part of Jabba the Hutt's nephew and his band.
His band, yeah.
I fucking love that one. People are like, this is stupid. I'm like, no, Star
This is
Wars needs
cool.
more stupid shit like this. I want to see what Battle of the Bands in the Star Wars universe looks like. I want to see Jabba rocket out and everything. I demand it. It would be hard to do in comic form because, you couldn't really do the music, but,
Yeah, yeah.
That's great. What a great way to end the show this week. Ending it on a high note. So thank you everyone for watching and listening. We hope you appreciated it. Lord knows Matt and I had a lot of fun. We're glad we're back. Be sure to check out our sponsor there, Blacktooth Battalion. It's so freaking close.
It is.
There, I know
yes.
Omari would really appreciate it. I know we would really appreciate it. Got anything coming up, Matt? Anything you want to promote? Anything at all?
Not really. No.
No, likely here too. I'm banging away at comic videos there. We're nearing the end of event season, so I feel like I'm finally going to be able to catch up now.
Yeah, really.
I know there's so many things. I want to go back to reading Thor. I want to go back to reading Venom and all these other books that I just have not had a chance with. Hopefully now I can.
Yeah, Thor's been great.
Yeah, so I understand. Alrighty then, everyone. So thank you so much. And Matt and I will be back again next week. Comic Multiverse out, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.
See ya.